Imagine building the perfect automated factory only for literally the entire planet to be set on fire, erasing all life and changing the very landscape you just built on. That's Star Rupture, and that's just one of the wild ways the game is setting itself apart from other factory games. And don't worry, the unique changes don't stop there. Star Rupture is the new game from Green Hell developer Creepy Jar, and I can already tell you this game will dominate my playtime on release. But it is not the game I thought it would be, at least not yet, but more on that in a bit. Of course, this is just the first playtest, with plenty of placeholder bits and bobs. The game is very incomplete, so please do keep this in mind as you watch this. Now, Star Rupture is going to be compared to Satisfactory left, right and centre just because it's a factory game. And frankly, I find it a little reductive to say it's Satisfactory with tower defense elements, despite this being how the original gameplay reveal made it look. Star Rupture actually switches things up quite a bit, not just to differentiate itself, but to truly be its own thing. For starters, we have a choice of 4 characters, although the scientist was the only one available for this playtest. The character is fully voice acted and shares some hilarious banter with the AI that's there to assist you on the very unique planet of Arcadia 7. And it's not just a little bit of the start and then nothing. No, new discoveries or tech unlocks, you get further voice lines to keep you engaged, and it's quite witty too. And I can't wait to see what the other characters can bring to the table. On the factory side of things, you get up and running pretty quickly, with a nicely guided tutorial which shows you the ropes without taking too long for those well versed in factory games. The factory system though, instead of being generation based, where factories will keep pumping out as long as they have input, the Star Rupture has demand based factories. As such, unless something needs a specific component or resource, machines will only fill up their onboard output and then stop, only sending out when another machine needs it for its own production. Don't worry though, it doesn't take too long to wrap your head around this, or the other big change, the fact there are no conveyors. Instead, we have a smart rail system. That demand feature I was telling you about? Well, you can have multiple outputs of different factories connected to a single rail, and the component from each of them will find its own way along the rail network to the right location automatically. Yes, you will still need to make sure that you don't clog the rails, but at least everything on said rails is there to be used, and the amounts sent never exceed the input slot capacity of the receiving factory units. Very clever. Progression is the closest thing to Satisfactory in my opinion, but instead of one big launcher that is the space elevator, we have as many mini launchers as you like, which simplifies delivery. And instead of one tier at a time, you have 5 separate groups to level up separately, with each group unlocking a specific type of upgrade, from new manufacturing equipment to new weapons. And just like Satisfactory, this isn't the only way to unlock new things. There are also recipe unlocks per building too, and that involves finding items out in the world and using these to unlock along with research points from scanning items, as well as sometimes other resources you are producing. This is all manual however, and not delivered via the rail system. And just as you are getting to grips with everything in your little factory setup, your first rupture of the Star War happen, and you will find out what makes this world unique firsthand. As the star bathes the planet in fire, and this not only looks incredible from your tiny little shelter, but it also transforms the landscape outside. This has a few factors on the gameplay. First of all, your factory needs to cool down before you can get running again, and although this doesn't take too long, all the plant life is gone. Which wouldn't be too bad for you, except yep, we have survival elements here too, with food, water and toxicity to manage. And now all your sources for doing that have gone. Smoke fills the landscape for a while, and the once green, lush surface is scorched black. And you can also find other areas that may be accessible only after a burn. But this planet will heal itself very quickly, and before long the plants do grow back. Shallow pools of water return, and the panic of having your survival sources ripped away subsides. This unique environmental change has a huge impact on your exploration, as what you will find will depend on where in the cycle of death and rebirth you are. And while I only found 1 or 2 examples of this where it mattered, I do hope they lean much more into this for the full game. The enemies and the tower defense elements seem to have been left for either much later in the tech tree or not really enabled at all. Mind you, I was only about 8 hours in before making this video, and only stopped due to a crash and losing 6 hours to no autosave. But that's on me, this was warned for the playtest. All the combat I found was location specific, at points of interest or when activating scanners in the field. I can't and won't comment on the combat too much because only the pistol was available to me and not the shotgun or assault rifle shown in the other trailers. But this still did leave me a little disappointed. I was expecting to be defending my tiny little outpost regularly and having to upgrade that defense along with the factory itself from the get-go. And it's also hard to tell whether what we could see for the tier unlocks will be as far as it went, or if there is yet more to be added that we can't see yet. And that's going to be important to know, as this could mean the difference between spending 35 to 40 hours on a playthrough, or 350 to 400 hours. Either way though, expectations aside, I really enjoyed what I played, and I'm already dying to jump back in as I make this video. And I feel there's still a lot more left to explore. The devs are definitely on the right track, and it's already a fun and unique experience, even in this very unfinished state. So what are your thoughts on Star Rupture based on what you've seen? Does the demand-based factory and smart rail system intrigue you? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more sci-fi game previews and reviews. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Kenetor, out.